What's going on, y'all? It's Isaiah Bagnah, and we're here on the Realist. Once again, I got my man Jake with me. Yeah, dude, first week back from SMU. It's been a good one, honestly. It was a little game recap. It was a gritty one. Yeah, it really was. Mic's not on.
There we go.
There you go. Anyways, it was a gritty one, man, and our defense, dude, we look really good. I'm pleased for what happened. I mean, obviously we have a lot to improve on. However, though, for the first 2 games of the season, defense is looking good, man. It's looking good. And offensive wise, you know, they're getting there. You know who really impressed me though? I rewatched the whole film and everything like that. Caleb.
Oh, dude. He's the highest rated tackle in college football right now.
Isn't that insane?
All tackles.
That's what I've been trying to tell people, man. I'm like, dude, this guy, you know, this offseason, he took it very seriously. You know, it's paying off. So I love to see that, man. Literally every single block, every play, he did his job.
He's always been big and athletic. I think he's got the help he needed.
Absolutely.
From the staff, too.
Literally, right? So that was good to see, man. Hopefully, you know, it continues just to go up in for the rest of the season. But anyways, from a exterior perspective, what did you think of the game?
Dude, we watched it here. We had a bunch of people over, and we were hyped. Like, we were just getting after it. Kelly gets a sack on the first drive.
Yep.
And that just kind of set the tone for us of like, oh, we're getting after these guys.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw Preston Stone's QBR at the end of the game.
Oh, I heard about it, though.
0.7.
Bro, didn't he, like, have negative 38 yards?
He must have, because to get less than 1%, I don't know if I've seen that.
He was negative 25 rush yards.
Negative 25.
Yeah.
Dude, let me pull up this box score because
so that set the tone for us. Like, while you're looking that up, that set the tone for us as fans, right? Like, we were all here. We're like, yes, we're gonna get after these guys. You know, we're gonna do this, that. I'm sure it set this tone for you guys too. But I want to say they went 3-and-out on the first drive.
Yeah.
Right. And then yeah. And so it was just, I mean, set that tone when you guys went out there and did that, and we were just kind of selfishly expecting that all the time. Like, we're going to get pressure.
Yeah.
We're going to get after them. It's not going to be this passive stuff. Like, it's going to be an aggressive D. And it was kind of, dude, it was one of the more fun games to watch when the defense was on the field.
It was pretty sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially, like, you know, the situations that we got put in, you know, just, you know, sudden change, unfortunate events, you know.
Bad field position.
Absolutely.
For almost the whole night. I think you spent a third of the time you started drives on the wrong side of the 50.
Yeah.
1/3 of the time.
Because, dude, the thing is, one of our goals was to only let them get in the red zone twice. Which, without a lot of those turnovers, we would have had our goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you get an interception, you know, there's fumbles, stuff like that. You know, stuff happens.
Yeah.
And so we got there 5 times. But they went 0 for 5 in the red zone. Isn't that crazy?
Had to get field goals every time. And
then another goal that we had, I think it might have been just average yards in general. Or it might have been rushing. But we kept them to 3.2 yards. Literally. It was insane, bro. And, like, yeah, it was just really good to see. And, you know, I was happy to see Miles get up in there, bro.
How big of a play was that 4th down, man?
Huge. Oh, my goodness. It is huge.
Hey, listen, I even today on the Discord, I was critical of a very specific thing, because overall, I'm not trying to be critical of anyone. Because overall, I think I'm glad we've got Coach A-Rod. But there have been times in the past where I've been like, we're not calling stuff for our personnel the way I'd like. But when he got Enoch in there, I think it was because he trusted Enoch to run north and south more, and he ran Jake on the edge, and he gave him that mid-zone power look inside. And then when he 4th and 1, everyone is loading up that box, going cover 1. He motions away from the boundary to get the matchup he wants, has Caleb seal the end, because usually speed option is you sift B gap as fast as you can to backer, and you read that end as fast as you can. Had Caleb seal that end, read that backer. I thought it was a beautiful play call, uses personnel well. That's a great call
Set
for
it up
Miles.
greatly.
Set it up amazingly.
Exactly.
So all credit. I mean, obviously credit to Miles. Credit to Jake. Had a rough night. Hung in there. Took a shot. Knew he was going to take a shot. Got a good pitch.
Yep.
So yeah, that was big time for all those guys.
Absolutely. It was big time for us, bro, because, you know, you're kind of sitting there all tense, you know, on the sideline. I'm like, oh, my gosh, we're about to, you know, like 4th and 1. Like, it's about to be sudden change. Like, we're about to get our asses back in there, man.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it was a big old run. Was it 35, 36 yards, something like that?
Something like that. I think it was 37.
37 yards.
Yeah.
So big old chunk play. I thought he was going to score, dude.
I thought he was too. Man. I thought he was too. I was like, ah. But I mean, it's still cool, man. We still needed it, bro.
Well, yeah, for sure.
You know, and also too, somebody's been hitting the weight room like hard, because did you see Darius carry 5 dudes?
Yes, I did.
Wasn't that crazy? You guys see that?
Yeah.
I was like,
that was
wow.
hype.
So I was like, so does your back hurt, man? From carrying the whole defense over there? I was like, man, that's crazy. You know, I love to see it, bro. I've been waiting to see, you know, because, you know, he's had a good offseason this whole fall camp, making plays. Well, you know, every chance that I've gotten to see. He's done well.
Yeah.
So it was good to see him back out there, bro. Make some plays. And I think that's a huge help. It was, you know, we need playmakers on offense.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, man, that was sick. Speaking of playmakers, Marque Collins. Man, it was so good to see him turn up this game too, man. Like, I mean, he had a good game last week, but this one, you know, he really was able to sustain himself and his defense, you know, and like honestly make a name for himself.
Right.
Especially, you know, it's funny because on the play that he had to pick, and we're gonna talk to him in a second. I'm gonna get him on the call here soon, but on the play that he got to pick, it was like quarter components. So I'm pushing back, getting depth, and then anything across my face, I'm going to take it. Whether it's a wheel route, you know, an up, out, back up, you know, those type of things, like, those are mine. And, you know, if there's like a over route by the receiver, split out, you know, the safety will take them. But usually we practice, like, the corners will carry that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm by myself.
In the flats, with whatever comes there.
And back up the sideline with them, right? So keep in mind, all right, I just had 2 or 3 plays of me playing in a 4-eye. So I'm sitting there.
Mixing it up.
You know what I'm saying? Wrestling 600 pounds, essentially. Then I'm running after the ball. And it was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that was a play that Crew, like, went Superman mode and, like, punched the ball out.
Yeah,
like,
right before that.
Right? And, like, you know, if you watch, I was, like, sprinting and stuff like that, you know. So I'm a little gassed. You know, my legs are a little heavy. Then they call this play in. I'm like, oh, man. You know what? Look, I'm going to set the edge and everything. If it's an out route, I'm going to take it. It'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what happens? I'm sitting there, and the tight end's kind of coming, like, to me, but, like, not very aggressive. So I'm like, all right, maybe he's just, you know, BSing. So my eyes go to the backfield. I look at the quarterback. And then the tight end hits the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Hits the Jets to the flat. So I'm like, oh, smack. Like, I got to do something to stop this guy or else I'm screwed. Or else this is a touchdown, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so he hits a flat. He's running to the sideline, and, like, I get, like, my hands on him a little just to slow him down a little bit, right? So I slow him down a bit, but he, like, hits this corner and, like, just goes vertical right up the sideline.
But you hung with him all the way to the edge.
But the ball was, like, lobbed. So, like, it was going to be, like, a, you know, over-the-shoulder kind of catch, and obviously I wasn't going to.
Well, right.
Right? So, I mean, maybe I could have pushed him out of bounds when he caught it, but still, like, it was just going to be a 50-50 play regardless. And, like, those odds obviously aren't very settling, right? And so, as I'm running, I look back, see the ball in the air, I'm like, oh, Like, oh no, yeah, look. As I'm seeing the ball come by right here, right? Like I'm jumping at this point, and then I'm like, oh, this ball's like over my head. Like, no way this guy catches it. And then I see Mark, high pointed, 2 hands, bop. And then I thought he fell out of bounds, but then I looked down, his feet literally toe tap.
Yep.
Dude, it was one of the coolest interceptions I've ever seen. Truthfully, I was like, whoa, okay, man, that's impressive. That was really cool to see. And so, anyways, that was really cool to see, man. And other than that, he had a really good game, honestly. After watching the film again,
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
He had a chance to pick in the first quarter, second quarter, earlier on.
I think it was this early in the second quarter.
He got his hands on another one.
Was
So
it?
eventually, dude, I think they're not going to keep going his way. If he's getting his hand on balls like that, it makes it tough, man.
It's hard, bro. You got Mark on one side, you got Jacob on the other side.
You got to go somewhere.
And like those over routes, the receivers are gonna be worried about Crew and T-Wall.
Hey, even Harry though has gotten way better in his pass drops from last year
That's
to
very
this
true.
year.
He has.
And he's had his hand on 2 hands
Yes.
on footballs in both games.
Yes.
So it's like, I mean, dude,
Man.
we're shutting down the run, but we're also causing havoc in the pass.
Yes.
In the secondary.
And then when you add on like the offensive line is getting beat up and we're all in quarterback's face, dude, like what can you do against that?
It's tough.
You know what I'm saying? And then you run the ball. We have Crew coming up and shutting the run down like that. You know what I'm saying, right? With the linebackers. It's cool. We need to keep this going, man. But that's what I've been trying to say this whole offseason, man. Like we've been like practicing with a chip on our shoulder.
I remember people were getting mad about the reports we were writing about scrimmages and practices, about the offense getting worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, but the defense is really good. They're like, well, it only looked good in practice. No, look, guys, I promise you, the defense is really good.
Yes.
Go easy on the offense. That is a really good D. And people were like, yeah, we got a redshirt sophomore playing corner and this. Well, like, guys, just trust me. Like,
it's
I
different
talked to
than
the
what y'all
O guys. I talked to the D guys.
Yes.
The defense is very good.
Very good. And like, yeah, everybody's getting used to, the scheme and everything like that. Everything's just falling into place.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'd be shocked if we weren't, truthfully, I'd be shocked if we weren't top at least 15 in the country. At least in the country on defense. At least. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been a part of, top 10 defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, different conferences, but regardless, you know what I'm saying? Top 10 defense in the country is a top 10 defense. You know what I'm saying? And, like, shoot, with the numbers that we have right now and how we're playing, of course, competition is going to go up against teams that we play, but, we're just only going to get better every week.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, bro, I can see it.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I can see it. And once our offense really gets put together and finds out their true identity.
Oh, there's enough stars on the offense, and there's some solid coaching on the offense. I'm not tripping yet.
Yeah.
And I think Wyoming is going to be a tough game just because it's at Wyoming and they hate us and all that stuff. But it's also going to be a great opportunity for our offense to kind of sort some things out.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And that's the thing, too, about Wyoming, bro, is like shoot, you look at how they're playing this season so far. I mean, what? They're 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be very physical.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they have potential, absolutely. I would never.
Yeah, you can't overlook anybody, dude.
Absolutely not. And
it's a big boy football.
Shoot, I'm coming this week with, the same mindset as if I'm coming to play, Georgia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get mine, regardless. And so, I'm never going to downplay an opponent. With that being said, these guys, when you come to a game with a different kind of mentality, like I have nothing to lose mentality, and I really don't like these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you put that chip on your shoulder, bro, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Especially since it's college football. College football, anything. Shoot. Well, who was it? Northern Illinois?
Yeah.
Just beat
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
That was a good game, dude.
You know who Northern Illinois lost to last year? Southern Illinois.
Oh, what do you know?
You see what I'm saying?
That's a transitive win right there.
So it's kind of like, dude, anything can happen, and especially if you don't come with the right mindset and the right preparation. And so, like, today, even, like, we're sitting there, we're going over obviously SMU, but you know, once we finished that, we kind of talked about Wyoming, you know, and how we want to go about this week. I'm like, bro, like, it starts right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we really want to, like, I don't really want to go in and just beat them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go in and, like, really put the pedal to the metal. You know what I'm saying? Like, continue to just improve all around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who we play. You know what I'm saying? An opponent really, to me, is just a different color jersey in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get mine. And we're still trying, you know, show the country, like, honestly, what we can do. So I just hope that's the same, you know, mentality and mindset that the rest of our team has. But for me, shoot, my preparation started yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been ready for this. And, you know, me personally, I'm, 4-0? 4-0 against Wyoming.
Yeah, that was a big conference game for you guys at Boise State too.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I fully intend to make it 5-0.
Right.
You know, I don't lose to Cowboys. At least Wyoming Cowboys. So anyways, I'm excited for the game, man. It'll be a good one. We play in Laramie.
Yeah.
It's a hostile environment. I'm excited, bro.
Dude, they're gonna have like every reason for the fans not to show up. Like, oh, like we're but because it's BYU, they'll be there.
Yes.
And they'll be hyped.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. I'm expecting it to be packed out.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm expecting it to be packed
and
out.
I think BYU fans are a little hyped. I think BYU fans are excited, and it's like, oh, and it's what, a 5.5 hour drive? It's something like that.
Really?
It's a bit of a drive.
Oh, okay.
But there's still like a lot of people who are, at least in our Discord and stuff, who are like, I'm going here, who's staying here, who's doing this. So I think to see, and then there's always.
Are you asking the question if BYU fans are going to show out?
No. I'm saying how far is the drive for your Provo BYU fans, students maybe, to show up and things like that.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I totally anticipate the same thing. I think there'll be definitely a lot of BYU fans there.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty good hype around it. And Laramie. You know, we're gonna get to Mark in a second because I don't want to drift too off.
Right.
But the first time I ever played in Laramie, actually the last time, I only played there once. Yep, I only played there once, and first of all, it was a blizzard. let me put that. It was like at the end of the season, and it was COVID. It was 2020, right? And like, no, it wasn't the end. It was like the middle of the season, kind of, which is crazy because you know that early for it to be blizzarding, you know. But anyways, I came out in the game and like, you know what, man? Like, this is gonna be my first start. You know, I'm young. Yeah, I mean, I used to play in this kind of way. Like, this is me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my element. I'm
Canadian
good,
football, baby.
right? I mean, shoot, if you see my high school film, you'll see quite a few games of me playing in weather like this, just crazy, you know, conditions. So I'm like, all right, I'm cool, whatever. I come out, everybody's getting their sleeves on, their, you know, compression pants. I'm like, you know what, let me be a little different. I don't wear anything under my pads, literally shirtless under my jersey. And, you know, no compression pants, nothing, no sleeves, nothing. And boy, was that a mistake. Cause I was like, man, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, boy, it's cold, you know. And, like, I'm a young cat, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still getting a feel for the speed and the physicality of the game. And like, I remember I think it was like my first or second drive. I had like a stunt inside to like the A gap or B gap. And I'm like going, everything's smooth. And then next thing you know, like an offense lineman just grabs me and just throws me, tosses me, right? I go flying, face in the snow, just I'm sliding like 5 feet, man. I get up there, snow up in my face. You know, my arms are all covered in snow. I'm freezing, right? And I was like, man, this is very fitting. Welcome to really real life college football, man. And so, anyways, after that, I came off to the side. I was like, man, you know, I gotta change something. You know, it's time to level up. So, long story short, I went back out there. You know, I got 2 sacks, won the game. It was good. Never been back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I of course, you know, that was an unfortunate way to start. However, though, I'm anticipating a very similar result.
Yeah.
I play pretty decent at Laramie, so
I think you should.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, I fully expect you. But anyways, Mark, want to get him on this so you guys can hear his take on the game and just learn a little bit more about him. Kev, would you mind giving my guy a call for us?
So,
Yo, Mark, can you hear me?
yes, sir.
What's up, my brother?
Good.
Good, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you getting on the podcast with us, bro. It's been
No, it ain't nothing.
yeah,
Big
man.
J, that's my guy.
Yes, sir, man. That's love. Hey, bro. So I got a couple questions. Some people want to know about you
Yeah.
and stuff like that. However, first things first, the pick in the SMU game. I'm sure you've already been asked about this a bunch, and stuff like that. But it's a cool thing, man. It was big time. I love to see it. Shoot, I was just telling the guys, man, like, dude, you saved my ass. You know what I'm saying? You saved my and like because obviously I have that like wheel route kind of going to the flag.
Yeah,
go
you
back,
take the wheel here.
right? And so like, bro, when that happened, I was just telling him, I was like, man, I was in a 4-eye wrestling, like these 300 pounders, and next thing you know, I'm dropping in coverage, and I'm dog tired, man. You know what I'm saying? My feet heavy and everything like that. And I turn the corner, I'm like, oh shoot, I see the ball in the air. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh no. And then,
I got you, bro.
you know what I'm saying? But by the grace of God, Marque Collins came up with the pick,
Bro.
man. 2 feet in bounds too. That was impressive, bro. What was going through your mind at that
Yeah.
point?
Honestly, so yeah, it's in that moment. It was just football. We practiced it all week. With the fill in the post. Pass that off to my senior. Gonna get a pick. Like that's what the thing was. But I also dropped the pick. I dropped it early, like second, third. So all game it's like I gotta get my hands on the ball again. With the
Yep.
pass rush and everything, we were gonna get another one. But really, it was just about making a play. And then fortunately enough, the play had happened on. We practiced it a couple times, so it wasn't much to really make that play.
No, that's awesome, bro. That's sick because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, like we definitely did practice that, and I even remember kind of like talking about it when I was talking to Jay, just about the coverage and stuff like that, even like Kelly and stuff. And dude, big time, man. If it wasn't for that, shoot, we wouldn't be with a dub, bro. So that's big time. I just wanted to, give you props for that, bro. And you've been playing very well this season, man. And I mean, this ain't a shock to me because shoot, I've been seeing this. You know what I'm saying? But for us of Cougar Nation, just honestly, everybody watching, bro, I love to see it, man. You've been turning up, bro.
Thank you, Zach. Like people don't know, like you've been seeing it, but even myself, I don't feel like I've always been myself since getting so. For having the first 2 games in a good fall camp, it feels good having that. So,
Absolutely.
appreciate the recognition for sure. For sure.
Yeah, man. That hard work pays off, bro. I'm a firm believer in what you do in the dark always comes out in the light. Whether it's positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? So, it's starting to shine, my brother. And we're only on game 2. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh yeah, only game. The best part about it, we ain't even played our best ball yet. So.
You know what I'm saying?
Best team.
Speaking of it being just game 2, bro, have you ever played Wyoming before?
So we were supposed to play them close here. The COVID situation happened. I think they out, but no, bro, I have not played Wyoming. They seem like a big running team so far, so it's on y'all, Zay.
No
It's
kidding.
on y'all. We gonna have y'all. We gonna have back though, but it's on y'all.
Oh yeah, bro. We gonna get after them boys for sure. So I played at Boise State, as you probably already know,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I was there for like 4 seasons, and I played Wyoming every year. It was kind of like a pretty big game, I'd say, for that Boise State
Yeah.
Wyoming kind of thing. And I'm 4-0, my man. So we gotta make it 5-0.
Okay.
You feel me?
That's easy.
We gotta make it
That's all
5-0,
you
my
have to
brother.
say.
Yeah,
Why
bro.
lose now?
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Why lose now?
But yeah, dude, it's I don't know if you've heard either, but in Laramie, like, the fans are kind of uh
I've heard it.
you,
I've
you
heard it,
know
bro.
you know
Get
what I'm
in, get
saying?
out. Get in, get in there.
Get in and get
Have
out,
been
my
on
boy.
this.
No, absolutely, man. But dude, that's pretty much the football questions I had for you. However, bro, um, if you don't mind, I wanted to get just a little more knowledge on you as a person and kind of like
Yeah.
what you kind of live by and stuff like that, bro. If that's cool with you, I just had a couple
Yeah,
questions.
for sure. It's all good.
So
All else is
perfect, bro. So the first one is I remember, hearing about before you came to BYU and stuff like that, and being at Weber State, and you've gone through some adversity, just like with injuries, stuff like that, or in uninjury. Sorry, I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
yeah.
And so, one question for you, bro, is how do you overcome adversity? What's your mindset or process? What is that to you?
So yeah, so initially, bro, I would say I didn't really have necessarily a mindset. I think it was just I love football that much. Like I couldn't just after injuries or any adversity, I couldn't give up on it. I think initially I never really had a mindset. That's just kind of my feeling towards the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now after going through those things, my mindset is definitely just, and it might sound cliche, but never give up. Like you will never know what happens. Like
Absolutely.
if I would have, I was plenty of times where I thought about not playing after tearing your ACL your year. I think that would cross anybody's mind if you should keep playing, or should you go. But I just chose to stuck with it, and I ended up in a great situation. That goes both ways, though. I could have ended up in a full situation, or just somewhere I didn't want to be. But fortunately enough, I stuck it out and I saw it. So I think that's just been my mind after all of everything that's happened. It's more so just don't give up, see, do everything you can to get to that point. But you never know what can happen, but you got to see like what happened.
Got to see it through, huh? Absolutely.
Got to see it through. But
Absolutely, man. Nah, I totally hear you, brother. I feel like, it's hard because when stuff like that does happen, or like when it feels like kind of like a setback, especially in the game. Like you love it so much that like regardless of what happens, like you still gonna stick with it. You still gonna, put your best effort forth. You know what I'm saying? And like,
got to
but it's also extremely difficult to do that, especially, in such a physically and mentally demanding sport, truthfully, and just
definitely,
situation, So
definitely,
it's tough too when you can't perform physically, or even like in a lot of other people's cases mentally, because of that setback. And so just to
yeah,
see it through and, keep that faith and hard work, that's something that, very admirable, truthfully. And dude, like I said, what happens in the dark shows in light, and, that faith
so
that you
right.
have in yourself, my boy, like, it shows, and it pays off, man.
Definitely.
So I love to
Appreciate
hear
that,
that,
Zach.
bro. That's big time.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, so I got one more question for you. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer.
No, you
Um,
good.
so me and the guys want to know what's your why.
My why.
Yeah.
So that's a question. It really changes a lot. Um, first for selfish reasons, I just want to be, I want to be the best at whatever that might. Personally, Like for myself, I just want to. If I'm on the field, I want to be the best. I want people to look at me and say, "Okay, he's out there. He's the best one on the field." It may not always be that way,
Right.
but that's how my performance is going to show. That's how my practice is going to show. Um, I would say that's my why. I want to leave a mark for sure anywhere I'm at. Another why I have obviously is a lot of people's why family. Like I just want to make sure they straight. Really, I don't want them work ever again. I just want them to watch me play football and you know, just live a happy life. They're happy now, but they've made so many sacrifices. I feel like that's another one of my big whys. Like, there's no way I could just not do, or at least try to do everything I can to make it I want to be, especially
Right.
with all the sacrifices they've been through. So the sacrifices they've done for me, or they for me, super supportive. Like I gotta make some shake, and that's kind of two main whys. Um, yeah, I live by that every game. The main thing, I just want to pass, bro. Like, and like I said, it won't always be like that. I may have a bad game next week, the week after that, but I will bounce, and it'll show. Like, if I'm not the best, I'm in my work ethic and how I play. I just go about things.
Absolutely. I love that, man. I feel like it's always, bigger than, just yourself. Of course, you love the
Yeah,
game and you want to go out there, you know,
for
get
sure.
yourself a bag, make yourself highlights, all these things and,
Yeah, yeah,
be a star. But at the same time, at the end, I feel like, at least for a lot of people, and I know for myself, it's bigger than myself. It's for like my future family. It's for my immediate family. It's for the people who's helped me get to the point where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? That sacrifice that you talked about. So
that's exactly how it should be, bro.
absolutely, absolutely, and that kind of just attests to who you are as a person, man. And it's kind of comes back to a thing that these values and these lessons that you learn through this purpose and through this kind of uh, process that you're going through your career, like those things will translate to off the field. You know what I'm saying? It'll translate to you being a good person, being there for your family, being there for, people who you care about, stuff like that. And dude, that's big time. Even like in the career fields, after football. Cause I'm sure,
Yeah,
once, you go do your dreams and everything like that, eventually you're going to want to do something else, you know what I'm saying? Like, as, I do too. And that's just going to just absolutely translate into that phase of our lives, man. It's gonna be great. So I love to hear it, man. I'm super glad, and I know everybody else here is glad to hear this side of you and to have a better
yeah.
understanding of the man you are, bro. That's sick.
Say, bro, thank you. Appreciate you having me. Hope we can do this again in a person more, meet in
Yes,
person.
sir.
But yeah, we'll get things done, bro. I appreciate you having me though.
100%, bro. Appreciate you taking the time, man. And like I said, we all appreciate you getting on the phone with us and sharing a little bit about yourself. So we're gonna do it again sometime, though, for sure.
Yes, sir. All right, Zay.
All right, bro. Have a good night.
It's
Marque Collins, everybody.
The Marque Collins.
The Marque Collins. Dude, he's a great dude.
He is.
Everybody who I talked to about him, great guy, great athlete. And yeah, man, he ever since he first got here, he's impressed me. So I'm glad we got him on the call, man. I love seeing him make plays.
Yeah.
And me and Jake honestly have been even talking about it, before we even got to before this game and stuff like that. And like, I just like playing with him.
Yeah.
I like having him beside me. You know what I'm saying? Like into the boundary, especially. And don't get me wrong, I love having Swervo with me, J
Dude,
Rob.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how could you not? You know what I'm saying? He's a dog in himself. But just having that new, fresh kind of factor into the defense, somebody I can work with and communicate with, and it just be like smooth. Literally, case point, his interception. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm not on point with my stuff, he's there to make me right.
Yeah.
Vice versa. You know what I'm saying? When he's pressured into the boundaries one on one, I'm gonna be there to help him out so that reroute the receiver and make it easier on him.
Dude, his breakdown of that was really pro because he
Right.
talked to it's a post wheel concept to the boundary.
Yes.
It's a cover 3 beater, right?
Yes.
So you're sending basically 2 routes into this most third zone of the defense. As an offensive coordinator, when I call post wheel,
Yep.
I'm hoping that post carries him really deep and out of the way and
So
creates
that
this
will.
big window. Here comes the second route in that zone, dump over the top. As much as Mark deserves credit, and he does, and I think it's a very veteran move of him to recognize, okay, this is post wheel. I've seen this
Right.
many times. I'm going to pass this off now, and now I'm ready to help out.
Really perfect time.
But also, it screws up the post will if your flat defender messes that route up and
Yes.
makes that window not where it's supposed to be too.
Yes.
So I think both of you recognizing like what it is, like you're kind of feeling bad you didn't hang with him the whole time, but as an OC, I'm expecting my guy to blow right past you on the wheel, and maybe you get a hand on him or something, but
Right.
and I'm throwing that ball sooner. So both of you guys, like that's something. I love the young guys, and maybe Trey's just as cold. I don't know. Maybe Shmev is just as cold. I don't know. But it's cool when you have the vets back there. You can hear them break it down and talk about it. And as an OC, you're like, well, shoot, man. Like they just hats off to you. You played
Right.
that perfectly.
Literally. And that's something cool for me too, is because, like I always try, because, I'm doing everything. I'm with the D line, I'm with the interior, I'm on the edge, with the regular DNs, and then shoot, I'll stack the fit with the linebackers. I gotta see what they're doing. I'll play the under, the holes, the slant windows, stuff like that. And then, I'm dropping to the seams, and I'll drop to the flats where I need to communicate more with DBs and stuff like that, corners and stuff. And so like I love learning more about all these different positions, all these different phases of the game, because I need to. First of all,
You're
right?
seriously like the tight end of the defense. Because as a tight end, it's like, okay, I got to know run blocking.
Yes.
I got to know all the pass plays. Oh,
Yes.
I got to know all the pass pro.
Know how to do it.
Yeah, I got to know how to get hands here, hat play side here, how to
Who
do
you're
this.
blocking, how you're gonna block them.
Yeah, so it's like, but now you flip that over. It's like, okay, who's that person? Well, it's probably the OE because he's doing all those same things.
Dude, I'm doing absolutely everything on the field that you can think of. I'm dropping in coverage, I'm fitting the run, I'm setting an edge.
Well, you're working
passing.
one-on-one on pass attack too.
Exactly.
Like that's a whole different skill set. Like there's guys who are elite at that, but you'd never drop into coverage.
Right?
And so
Facts. So with that being said, man, like I like to like sit there and kind of have conversations with, some of the DBs on the team, pick their brains on certain things, learn, kind of see what they're seeing, how they're dealing with their eye control, stuff like that. And especially, 3-step with the linebackers, like I'll talk to them about 3-step, how they play that, because, I'm trying to play 3-step from the line of scrimmage. They're playing 3-step from 5 yards off.
from depth.
So
yeah.
they can see a lot more different. But regardless, their reads are still reads that I need to take into consideration, right? And so I'll talk to them about stuff too. And it's just cool to be around people who know what they're doing, so that I can grab that for myself. You know what I'm saying? And dude, literally, like, I can't explain how much I've learned from this team already.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, give out no surprise or nothing like that. But, like, bro, I've been working on this one pass rush move with Tyler Batty this whole offseason, something I've never done in my life. Never. But now, like, I'm just waiting for the moment.
The right time.
Dude, y'all going to see it. And when you see it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. This one move, bro, is going to be sick. And
I talked to Icky, and
Yeah.
new kid from NorCal. And he was telling me, I was like, okay, dude, just be honest with me. Best pass rusher on the team. And I've asked every tackle this now.
Okay.
He's like, I think the last one I had to ask. And of course, he says Bagnah. Like, he
Yes,
says
sir.
Bagnah. I'm like, that's what I like to hear. And I was like, did you know, like, he's my guy? He's like, no, I didn't know. It's like, oh, that's good. Now it's
There you
actually
go.
authentic.
Yeah, not biased. at all.
Not biased. And then I said, like, who else? He like hype up some of the guys. He's like, who's got some weird stuff? Is Fat Boy. Ephraim does some
Yes.
weird stuff. He said that Ephraim did a fake spin on him.
Yeah.
And I'm like just trying to like did he like spin and go back, or was it
I
like
think
a
I
half
remember
spin?
that, honestly.
I don't know, but he was telling me, he's like, dude, he hit me with a fake spin. I'd never seen it before. And I like my feet
Yes.
stopped. I didn't know what to do, and he got
Yes.
past me. So there's like, and I've coached football for a long time. I'm like trying to think if I ever seen a fake spin.
Right?
So like, there's, I mean,
No,
Sky's the limit.
that's what I'm saying, right? First, actually, side note, Fat Boy, that guy has a very high ceiling. I'm excited to see, what he does. And honestly, he's starting to creep his way into the game plan.
Yeah.
More and more, I'm telling you, y'all gonna see him. Especially by the end of the season, y'all gonna see more of him for sure. And, he's become more disciplined and detailed in, like, how he goes about, setting the edge, playing the run even, and his passion was, like, one thing that him and I are very similar with, and, like, one thing I try, like, kind of teach him is, like, the stuttering and the pass rush. Because when you're very quick and, like, a light pass rusher, you tend to stutter a lot because the offense lineman doesn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see you kind of, and then you can make a move off that. But the better the offensive lineman you play, it's not going to work. Right. They're just going to sit there and wait for you to stop doing it. They'll just let you do all that stuff, right?
You just give me a second.
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's a good switch up. But every time you can't do that.
No.
You can't do that. But that's something that I used to do all the time as a freshman. You know what I'm saying? And so I was kind of like, I'm not taking credit for this whatsoever, but that's kind of something that I emphasize, especially because, like, Coach Pop Kelly, like, tells him this, we have our one-on-one stuff like that. I'm like, man, like, take your strides. Make this your main rush, and then you can work off that, your speed of power. And then once they start seeing your speed of power, that's when you can use your stutter.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
It's the same
take your inside
thing.
move.
It's the same thing. Like, dude, I was telling these guys before. My brother and I still watch a lot of the high school games around the state.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like the Corner Canyons, Lone Peaks, Sky Ridges. Like, we watch those plenty. But we'll watch any game that we can get our eyes on. YouTube streams, whatever. And there's a lot of coaches who just kind of call plays. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what you're talking about with the D linemen.
Yes.
Like, they just go out there and they work moves. They're just working different moves, hoping stuff works. And then there's really good coaches who, like, have a system and they have an identity around what they play call, and then they have wrinkles off of it. Like, oh,
yes,
you want to insert your safety into our zone read with the quarterback because the numbers don't work if you don't. We're going to throw a bubble go.
Yes.
We're going to fake this out. Quarterback's going to come, and then all of a sudden that guy's gone, and you're all playing here. Like, you eventually you have an identity. And what makes you dangerous is you kind of work all these wrinkles into it in football. Yeah. And so when people are over preparing for your identity, they step away from their base defense or their base thing. And then it's like, I can do whatever I want to you now.
Literally anything. So strip that from them, huh?
Yeah, it's cool.
Literally.
Dude. I love football.
That is cool. I love it too, man. And that's one thing too. The older I get, the more I am able to understand it and the more I get to learn. Because, growing up, like, Canadian football is different than American football.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, that's the football that I know. And that's football that I grew up with, right? And so, like, I honestly didn't learn this type of football until, like, 2020, truthfully. And even then, I kind of just, like, was still learning what quarter components are, learning what cover 2 is, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And the intricacies of just, like, playing D-line in all honesty, which everybody is, right? But regardless, it's still different, right? And so
who your coach is in high school matters too.
That's very true.
Because there are people who are phenomenal athletes and their athleticism gets them to the D1 and then they've got to learn everything there.
That's
and then
very
there's
true.
people who are phenomenal athletes and they have excellent coaching.
Great coaching.
And they get there and they're ready for more.
Yes.
The foundation is built.
That's very true.
So it matters, dude. I'm telling you, it matters.
Absolutely. And honestly, since we're talking about this, there's kids who come up with, they are lifting weights all year round. They have film, learning concepts like you just said, saying good coaching, stuff like that. And then they come to college and they're already kind of used to it. I even see it, every year with the freshmen who keep coming in. Every year it just keeps getting better and better and better, truthfully. And it's really cool to see. But for me, like, I was probably the most raw freshman like you've ever seen. Like, even if you ask like a lot of the guys who in my freshman class, bro, like, in any and every which way. Yeah. Truthfully, I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way, truthfully. You know what I'm saying? But on the football side, like, I was a hooper. So I didn't lift a single weight until I got to college. You know what I'm saying? Football was always, all right, this looks like pass. I'm going to run past this guy. I'm gonna throw a move and see ball, get ball, right? I didn't know coverages, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. So it was complete instinct. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that was a huge challenge for me coming into college because I had to learn. All right, you got to be intentional now.
Yeah.
Everything I do is intentional with my technique, my fundamentals. Even the pre-snap, game situation, scenarios, stuff like that, field position, all these different things. Like I had to be intentional. Obviously, everybody needs to be intentional when you learn about this, but I feel like more so for me because it was just so foreign.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So tying that into like with guys like Fat Boy, like these guys, Fat Boy's very similar to me in that aspect. They're just like kind of raw talent, raw skill, like just going off of basically your feel for things. I call it the spidey sense, right?
Yeah.
But like, he still has a good understanding of the situation and stuff like that. He's very coachable, which is awesome to see. Something that it took me a while to learn how to be coachable. So that's just something really cool when it comes to
And D-line, dude, D-line's unique. Like I didn't coach tons of D-line, but especially when I was an younger coach before I kind of became this offensive specialist, people would be like, "Oh, you were a lineman. Like, come teach this." I'm like, "Yeah, I played a little bit of D tackle, just like plug gap, maybe twist, maybe slant. Like, it's not like
crazy.
It's nothing crazy."
Yeah.
And then mostly I played O-line, and that's totally different knowledge. And they're like, I remember people asking me like, "Hey, how do you know? How can you work your technique and see where the ball is going?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're never gonna see it.
No.
You're gonna feel what way the O-lineman is trying to work you, the way he's trying to, where he's trying to work outside, inside here, and you gotta just instinctively learn to feel that pressure and go against it. Or if your assignment is contained, fight it to keep contained. Whatever it is. But like a lot of people, like they just don't know. And D-line's tricky, man. There's like stuff like that where it's like I can't get my eyes in the backfield and work my technique. Like your eyes are not going to be in the backfield most of the time.
Yeah.
You're going to be working one way or the other, and you have to know what's going to happen based on what you feel. So defensive line, dude, it's a tricky one. First of all,
it is.
You have to be the most athletic of the D linemen.
Yes.
Because I loved O-line because I knew I was going to win 80% of the time or more because I know the snap count. I know where the ball's going. I know kind of what the play is, right? I know, like, when we line up and I see where you're lined up, unless there's a stunt or a shift or something, I know what footwork I'm going to use right away.
Exactly.
So my brain's ready to go. I'm gonna near foot him, or I'm gonna reach him, or I'm gonna do this. Like right away, I know exactly. My game plan is set. You have to fire out and then process information in a nanosecond.
Like that.
Yeah, it's fast, and
like
then make your move.
Exactly.
So, I always like that, but D-line is just tricky. You got to be freaky athletic so you can recover with all those disadvantages against you. You have to be athletic of that. You have to be quick in the mind because you have to, once you got that read and react, it's got to be quick.
Exactly.
And then you got to be fast. Like, you got to chase people down. You got to be strong. You got to be able to extend arms. Like, it's
extend, look. Pass rush in itself is a whole different part of the game.
And even what I'm talking about right now, it's completely different.
Literally completely different. And that's a whole huge phase of it too, which is insane. But you're right.
And I feel like I could take an average old lineman and coach him up to be above average.
Right.
Because I could teach him all these things. If I have an average D lineman, sometimes that's his limit. Because I'm like, look, I can teach you a bunch of stuff, but you're not fast enough. You're not strong enough. You're not this. As an old line, I'm like, oh yeah, I can get your fat butt. I can get my fat butt play side and do this. I can cut you. I can do this. I don't need to be an elite athlete because I have all these advantages. And not saying that our linemen aren't elite athletes, because Caleb, Kime, Connor Pay, Wade, like they're all very athletic.
Yes.
But from a high school perspective.
But I mean, dude, no, it's facts. I even see that at this level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when we were playing Texas, like, I had a stunt to the A gap, and this is one of their runs. We actually played a very good defensively game defensively.
Well, you took a lot of snaps too. You guys played a lot of snaps.
Anyways, I was stunned to the A gap, and it was a run. It was that run play. It went for like 50 yards, dude. And it went up my gap. But you know what happened? Literally, I had a great get off, timed it perfectly. But you know what happened? All the center did was snap, took his left foot, stepped forward, took his right foot, pivoted back, stood there right in my way. And just for that 1 second, bop, the running back seen it and took it. Just like that. So you're telling me all this offensive lineman had to do was take 2 steps, and I had to do all this just to try to get to that A gap?
Dude, you want to know a dirty trick I used to do when I was a run game coordinator at OC? So when we would run ISO or leads inside, I would line up. Especially if it was a defense that didn't move a lot up front. Mm-hmm. If they're just kind of lining up, and a lot of in high school football, a lot of D coordinators kind of just keep their D-line there. They tell the D-line, hey, just cause disruption, let my linebackers do the work, especially if you're playing the run. I would line up and see where they were shifted, what their front was over to. And I would run weak side lead against it constantly. Because as an O-lineman, I understood my play side guard, now that we're going weak side, my play side guard has to take 1 step.
That's it.
Because he's cut that guy off completely. My center's got to be a little more athletic because I'm going to ask him to combo with the other guy to Mike,
right.
But I usually had my most athletic guy who wasn't a tackle at center, so that was no problem. And then my other guard has got a combo block. He's got help from the center, right? And we're running away from him, so really he's got to be good for 1 or 2 steps. Most of my ends are playing contain, and then my fullback's going to be a beast, and he's going to just isolate that backer he's leading on and hit him. And I would call it over and over and over again. It didn't work against teams that stunned and things as well.
Right.
But against just like a base front defense, I would line up an I, and I'd see which way you'd go with the tight end, and I would just run weak side every single time. And it's easy footwork for your own line. And people will be like, oh, dude, you're such a genius. I was just talking to a guy I ran into who used to coach with me. He's like, dude, you're a real genius with the run game. I'm the laziest OC there is because I played O-line, and I would just get the easiest footwork for the O-line, make them right, and then let the backs just hit holes.
Bro, that's so interesting. That's actually, first of all, that's honestly very smart, especially to use at that level. But that's such a interesting concept to me.
As a D lineman.
Like, no, I'm saying like as a high school coach.
Oh.
I want to hear about this for a second.
Yeah.
So obviously at the college level, you do recruiting and you get guys that you honestly you might not really want, but you want. You know what I'm saying? So you choose these people. You choose who essentially is on your team. High school, I mean, sure, you might get some transfers in, but truthfully, like, what you got is what you got.
Yes.
And you got to kind of work with that. What was that like?
Dude,
how do you work with that?
we had the opposite of that, where some of our best players, I go watch the 8th grade games, watch the 9th grade games, and kind of like see who the players were, kind of know what those teams were like, and like I'm gonna have these guys next year or in 2 years, and kind of get a feel for them. And they're gonna be on the practice squad initially, and then they'll be varsity guys. But I'm telling you, some of my star guys, one of them plays for SUU, Targi Lamson. Okay. Right? And I probably shouldn't name a bunch of names because I don't want to talk bad about these guys. But a lot of them got poached away. So it wasn't even like they end up at Timpview. They end up at Timpview. If you're a Spanish Fork guy, that goes back 20 years. Where some of your best players go to Timpview and have these ties. So it's not only that I don't get to pick and choose my guys, it's also that these young guys I go watch and see them get developed and all these things where I'm like, oh, we're gonna do some work together. Like, this is gonna be fun. And I go talk to them after the game. Hey, you had a great game. And they're like, yeah, I'm excited to come play for you. I watched your offense do this because I was the run game coordinator. I'm excited. Like, I want to have big runs like that guy did in front of all those fans. I'm like, dude, I'll make it happen. Like, it's gonna be fun when we do it. And then they go to a different school. So sometimes you don't even get your best guys, right? Unless you're at a big school who gets away with that. But it becomes, you have to become a man, because not every school gets away with that, Kevin.
Not every school gets away with it, but the good ones do.
It's weird how that works.
It's so weird.
But you have to make a difference, you really have to become a master of the fundamentals and the technique. Yeah. And that's where it's like, how good can you make an average O-lineman? How good can you make, and sometimes, I mean, if you're playing lots of zone and you do get a fair amount of zone, depending on what, every team's got a little different identity, you can make an average wide receiver. You can coach him up and be like, hey, we're going to throttle down here. Cover 4, this is your sweet spots. Like on these routes, we're going to look at this. When we run double slants against man, you're going to make sure you can kind of fine tune some of that. But eventually, like, receivers got to be fast. Right. and he's got to be physical enough to get off press man, and it's kind of like
have good hands. I mean,
he's
he's
got to have hands, right? Yeah. So, but to get really good at consistently, if you see a program who isn't known for recruiting, but you see a program who consistently has good teams, you know, there's coaches there who really understand the fundamentals, and they're good. And I was a teacher, so I'll say teacher instead of coach. They're also good teachers in that they can go in and they can teach a whole room of guys this.
Yeah.
We're going to run this drill. I'm looking for this. And the longer you do it, the easier it gets, because there's a little trial and error on your part of, I need everybody to be able to reach step. So I'm going to teach the steps, but then I'm going to run these drills, and I'm going to look for these things. And this kid can do it. I think I can get this kid there. This kid, I probably can't get there.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's fun, dude. It's rewarding. It's fun. You think you're learning a lot about football, and I'm sure I didn't play D1 ball. My brothers played D3 ball. But sure, you're learning a ton. But when you coach it, you have to understand it at a level where then you can go and explain it to someone who doesn't know what you're talking about. At all.
Right.
And I was fortunate to coach alongside a lot of guys who played in the league and who had extremely good coaching in college and in the league. And then I got to be the recipient of me watching them coach guys, or them pulling me to the side and saying, hey, you should teach it this way, or you should look at the game this way or that way. Because I never did anything besides slide left, slide right, or big on big. Pass pro as O lineman. But then I was like, we threw for 4,000 passing yards one year when I was the OC. But I learned that all from guys who played in the NFL.
4,000 passing yards. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad year. We got our QB was all
There
state.
you go.
So
I was gonna say that's impressive.
it was pretty good.
Dang, that's crazy to think about. I appreciate you sharing that, because that's honestly something that I kind of think about. Is because, like, I mean, shoot, every year I've been in college, I've done the the high school camps, the middle school camps, stuff like that, and I feel like you're totally right. Like, teaching it is like the best way to learn it. Honestly, is to master it. And like every year, I have these young guys come up to me, and we're going through drills. And before, sometimes like I would be going through these drills, like I'd take them through the drills that I do. I'd be like, man, like, why am I doing this drill? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you got me running around this hoop 8 times? You know what I'm saying?
I know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just conditioning. I'm dog tired. Like, bro, I could be doing a lot of different stuff. A lot of stuff in my mind at that point, better with my time, really, right? But once I started teaching it and like running them through the drills, I was like, whoa, I see how different it is. First of all, like, I mean, shoot, it's obviously going to be different, like on a Division I level, in high school kids levels, but you do it to emphasize pointing the toe, crossover run, getting a lean when you run, getting used to that. There's so many different reasons for these drills. And like, I truly didn't get to understand. I mean, I knew what the point was, but I didn't understand truthfully why we were doing it until I started coaching it myself. See what I'm saying? And just like going off of that too, the kind of like the satisfaction of like these kids starting to get it. They start to like get better, and I can see it literally happening in front of my eyes. Like, dude, it's honestly such a cool feeling.
Dude, you want like the biggest, this is so bad to say this, but you want like the biggest ego trip you can have as a coach is like Monday you roll out film, you show a defense or offense or whatever, and you're like, hey, they have played this concept this way all season long. We have run this concept this way all season long, and now we're going to run a nod instead of a 5 and out, or now we are going to run the poco instead of the post, and now we're going to do this. And you point to a kid, and you're like, and you're going to score a touchdown in this end zone in front of your mom, because she always sits in the same spot, and all this stuff. And you tell them that, and then you get in the game, and it just works out perfectly. The ball is there, you're here, mom is in that corner, you're like, oh, here we go. And you call it, and it happens, and it's just like, it's the biggest ego trip in the world. You're like,
it's like the biggest I told you so.
Yeah, exactly. It comes to the sideline, and you're like, what I say, what I tell you.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest.
It's fun, dude. It's fun. And mom's happy, right? Everybody's happy. So
that's them coming off with the biggest smile on their face. That's so cool, I bet.
Yeah, and you're like, like, I didn't run the route because I'm not a wide receiver.
Right.
Like, I didn't throw the ball. I'm not a quarterback. Like, all these things. But it's like, but I did make that happen.
That's very true.
Like that happened because of the preparation
Yeah.
and the coaching and teaching how to do all those things. So,
And it's a follow through plan.
mm-hmm.
And that's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
So, no, that's so cool. Yeah, I have an idea of what you're saying, you know. Actually, an example of it was like this off season, this summer, we had the camp, right, and stuff like that. And there's this one kid. I mean, I was helping a bunch of kids out, you know, with their pass rush moves and stuff. But there's this one guy, I could tell he wanted it more than everybody.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like working super hard. He might have not been the best, truthfully, there, but like he was working so hard. You know what I'm saying? You could tell he just cared so much about it. And like I remember we got to the one-on-ones, and you know we start off with the run blocks. Obviously, it's so like, you know, he'll get up there one-on-one run blocking. You stick out, set the edge, right? He's doing good, but you know he's kind of getting blown off the ball a little bit, push off the line of scrimmage. I'm like, all right, bro, this is what I want you to do. I told him, do this footwork, see what you're hitting, like see through your hands. You know what I'm saying, when you strike, and then just lock out. Like bend your knees and get lower than him, lock out. And next thing you know, he did the exact play. He did that exact thing. And he was really trying to impress Kelly of Coach Pop, right? And the whole time, Coach Pop kind of just like, whatever, right? And then he finally, Coach Pop got fired up, and he was like, hell yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we've been, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could just see on the kid's face, just
That's
like,
$1 million,
dude,
man.
biggest smile and everything. And like, he came off, and I gave him a high five. I was turned up for him, too. I was like, man, I told you so, man. Like, I told you that's what you do that, bro. I promise it's going to work every single time, especially, you know, against this. And so, next thing you know, we go to the pass. Same thing's happening. He's kind of getting clamped up and everything. I was like, bro, I want you to remember this drill that we went off. Like, we were practicing, like, his get off, you know, in his strides, gaining ground. I said, gain ground with your first 2 steps. And then he's going to give you his hands.
Yeah.
And once he does that, all I want you to do is take your outside hand and grab his outside hand and move it. That's it. Because he's shooting high in your face, and you'll be able to see it. Just keep your eyes, take your steps, and keep your eyes on his outside hand. On his outside elbow, sorry. I promise it's going to be there. Just like, club it. Just, you know what I'm saying? And rip. And you'll be good. I promise. He's like, I don't know, man. He's got to get nervous, you know. Because it's his last rep of the whole camp. You know what I'm saying? He wants to win. Like, bro, I promise it's going to work. Next thing you know, he does it. Takes 2 steps. Bop, bop. The arm comes out. Club rip. Bend the edge. Clean sack, dude. It was perfect. And, like, once again, he's turned up. I'm turned up. You know, I'm jumping with him, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, it's just such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
And, like, what's the coolest part about it is that I have never been so locked in on the outside arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until after I coached this kid that. And I was like, whoa. Like, maybe, because, you know, sometimes, especially as a speed rusher, you know, you kind of just, whatever he does, I'm just running past him. I'm faster than him, I'm just going to go. But, like, you know, once you get against some good tackles, like I said, you got to be more intentional with your eyes and, you know, what you're doing, your fundamentals and stuff like that. So, like, after I taught him that, I was like, okay, maybe let's start to incorporate this in my game more. I incorporated the rest of the summer, practiced it the rest of the summer, you know, into fall camp. It was like, truthfully, I was winning every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the outside arm, pop. It's not there. I'm going inside, pop. See the inside elbow, pop. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, dude. So, you know, it's wild just how everything works. But
dude, I want to ask,
super
like,
cool.
Belichick, who's on the Manning cast, like, earlier, right? Like, I want to ask him, like, do you hit a level? Because I didn't come close to hitting it, but, like, do you hit a level at, like, year 30, year 40 of coaching football where it's, like, you're still learning stuff, but it's, like, so small. It's, you know, it's not that much, but, like, or not. Or it's, like, every season you study film, you watch guys, you see things, you watch your own guys to, like, fix them up and this, and you go to clinics, right? Because coach is like, I'll go to clinics and stuff. And, like, if you're really intentional at the clinics, you can learn a lot of stuff. There's guys there who run a different system than you, but something they might teach about a release or about something will help your receivers. Like, anyway, it's like, but I wonder, because, like, I never hit it, dude. Every year I felt like I learned so much more than the year before. But I wonder, like, you go ask Andy Reid
or Nick Saban. Kinda,
yeah,
dude,
like do you hit a ceiling? Like a year 25?
that's
Like
what
do
I'm
you hit a
thinking.
ceiling? Like I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like you have to be so like innovative
Yeah.
about, first of all, certain things about what you incorporate into your team and your offense or your defense. But at the same time, too, like, I mean, how much different stuff have you seen? Like, there's obviously crazy talent, crazy freak athletes all around every year, but like, still,
Football's football, man.
it
Like
is.
we were running a lot of zone read with a bubble option.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like first you read the D end, then you come out, then you read the flat defender. If he goes with the bubble, quarterback keeps it.
Yes.
If he tries to play the difference, you extend, and then you whatever. And people will be like, dude, this is such an innovative offense. Like this is so cool. Like this. And I want to be like, guys, you remember like Nebraska or like you remember these teams in the 90s who ran the option?
Yes.
This is the same thing. We've put the fullback behind us. That's our first thing. We've put the pitch man in the slot. Like, it is the same thing. Now, you got to teach the quarterback's footwork different so he can open up on this mesh. And then, like, and his eyes are here. And, like, there are differences. But the concept is exactly the same. Like, there's a million ways to run smash. There's a million ways to run post wheel. Mesh can be done pretty differently, a lot of different ways, depending on your formation. Like, you can, four verts. I went to a clinic and A-Rod showed me a different way to run four verts than I had ever seen before. He has his whole, I don't want to divulge A-Rod's personal secrets here, but he has a bender boundary back, which was different than I had been coaching four verts for 5-6 years before that.
Yeah.
And so it was way simpler for a quarterback and for the receivers and for everybody. I was like, dang, that's pretty sweet.
Right.
And I've been coaching four verts forever. So it's just, I don't know, man. It's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
But
it is cool. I feel like there's so many things you can work off of. But yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be a point where you're just like, I've seen it.
I've seen it all.
Like, that's pretty cool. Maybe I could use that. But like, I've tried it before.
Yeah.
And it worked here, but it won't work for this, scenario, for this game, for this team.
Dude, if I'm a head coach, and I'd actually never wanted to be a head coach. Still don't ever want to be a head coach. Unless it's at a high level. Because it's just high school, it's just more problems. Coordinator's a sweet spot. But I want to go learn more about special teams. I want to go learn more about, DNs.
Yes.
Like I coached interior, I played interior D-line a little bit. Played interior O-line a lot. But like I could probably learn for 10 years I could learn about DN stuff from people, But I don't know. Like man, I don't know.
Dude, that's actually, it's funny that you said, because lately I've been really trying to lock in on special teams. Like, I mean, I'm not starting on any special teams except for a punt return.
I was gonna say punt.
However, I could start on every single one, truthfully, But regardless, I'm not just because they want to preserve, my energy.
You are a starter,
right?
So,
but however, I'm really intrigued about special teams, especially as of lately, and that's why, like, typically you're in a special teams meeting, you're just kind of like, all right,
I gotta be here.
I just have to sit through this, and
dude, as an OC, I was the same way.
Right?
Go to a special teams,
like,
oh, this is stupid,
right? But like, now that I started locking in honestly on special teams like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago,
right?
And it was cool, but I'd still catch myself kind of like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, now I'm like, if you see my notebook, bro, I'm like writing stuff down on kick return, the front line, the left end, right end, what the off returner is doing, what he's supposed to do, the spacing between him and the returner, what like a sky kick is and when you would use it, or like even just like on punt return, because I am on punt return too, which I need to know exactly what I'm doing anyways, but like on full pressure, what we're trying to do then, when to call it, when would be the good time to call it, even fakes.
Hey, SMU went all out on you guys for a block a couple times, did they not?
I believe they did once.
I think it was
once.
Or just one time.
I'm pretty sure it was once. And it was close.
It was close.
That was in the end zone, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, we also sent pressure once though.
We went for one all-out block.
Yes, we did.
Because I had talked to some guys who said that you guys had some sick punt blocks actually, and that they were hoping to use some week one. They never called them.
The one that we had in week one was sick.
I had been hearing rumors
didn't
about it. I
cover it.
was like, I won't say anything until like 30 minutes before the game. And even then I didn't like leak details. I just said, hey, keep your eyes open for this pump block. Look for these guys. I named like some names of guys because like, I don't know, I shouldn't say, but anyway, JoJo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, like look for this guy, this, and I every time there was a pump, and there was a lot in the first game. I was like, oh, here we go. Is this going to be the one? No, I never called it.
I know, right?
So
yeah, dude, I know. But yeah, anyways, just so with all that being said, man, just like the special teams aspect of the game is so cool, and like just having my position coach as a special teams coordinator too, like it kind of just influences me to learn more about it.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, I've been able to acquire a different perspective and outlook on special teams. You know,
it's underappreciated. It's so important, and like you want to,
so important. Dude.
you want to coach, right?
Yeah.
And
Eventually,
and not next week, but
right.
eventually, and you want to be
forward.
a high school AD probably. We've talked about you and I personally. Dude, that's such a good way. If there's like a staff that you kind of wanted to coach on, you go in and you're like, hey, look, I'll help your D lineman, but I also would love to help your kickoff.
Right.
Because as a head coach OC, I'd be like, yeah, take that, because like that's an extra thing.
Even if I was a coach right now, I'd pull some crazy stuff out on special teams.
Well, and you've seen stuff.
Snake. Oh yeah,
too. And I think that's something where I was like, if they, and I've had years where they're like, you're coaching the wide receivers this year. I'm like, bro, shoot me. I know nothing.
Yeah.
But so it happens when you're on staff. It's like someone could tell you, hey, you're special teams coordinator this year. You're like, okay, I'll call some coaches and I'll hop on YouTube, I guess.
Figure some stuff out, right?
Yeah.
But
you'll have a huge edge there, dude, because I never had that.
Yeah.
So that's cool, dude.
It's the common, perspective like we talked about special teams, right? Like
run your lanes, contain, assignments.
It's offense and defense for most people, right? Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, dude, the more I understand, I'm just like, and just see it and observe for myself, I'm like, whoa, special teams is literally like, because at Boise State, one thing that like we kind of went through almost every single day, we call it game-changing special teams, GCST. And like, it was such an emphasis on being the best special teams unit in the country. Like we literally devoted like a whole hour to a special teams meeting every single day.
Competitive advantage.
You see what I'm saying? And bro, like so many times that was the difference in so many games. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, almost every game, it was the difference between us winning and us either like, well, first of all, losing and it being a close game.
Yeah.
And even if you look at it, especially in this season so far, like SMU, there are special teams. We're getting better, but it's still not to the standard of what it needs to be,
right?
Truthfully. And if we would have, executed on the special teams aspect of it the way that it should have been, the game wouldn't have even been close.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how the offense did.
Yeah.
Right. So, these things, it's the little things that matter. And I feel like, if you love ball, you'll understand the importance of special teams.
Dude, I want to highlight just one underappreciated aspect of the offense. And this may be just TJ Woods and A-Rod's dynamic. They have helped you guys out a lot more this year in the fact that even when it's not as productive as you'd like it to be, they are committed to the run game.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? Even when it's like it's sometimes putting us in third medium, third and longs, like they're still doing that. And I think last year we had all these defensive injuries pile up, and all these things. And I feel like a lot of it was because couldn't fix the run game. We had tried, and so we kind of tried to be a little bit air raid. Yeah, but you have a few bad plays, it's a punt.
Yes,
you know what I mean. But say what you will about this staff, I feel like they have been, even when LJ's out or when you've got Enoch in, or you got who technically going into that game was fifth string.
Yes. Right.
Tell me about that. You see Enoch go in. Like, what are you thinking? Obviously, you've seen him play, so you have some more confidence in him than the fans who don't know who he is.
Yes.
But what are you thinking like when you see him go in?
Dude, like truthfully, I see him just as I see, and I see all the running backs the same. Honestly, I'm like, all right, they're gonna go in and handle business. You know what I'm saying? it was cool to see Ian again because I've never really seen him get in again. I practice against him and everything like that. You know, like I've, you know, all this type of stuff, and he's done great. But never seen him in an actual game situation, and so I was kind of turned, and I seen him get the ball. I was like, all right, cool.
And he did great.
He did great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He did great. And so, yeah, they got some depth in that room, at least, you know. But, yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
But, man.
I know.
We could sit here and talk about football all night, man. But we're gonna wrap things up here. However, before we do, fantasy football. Man, I am sick. Guess who I played this week?
Oh, I know.
Yours truly. And how did it go, man?
I'm gonna pull it up and show the camera.
Pull it up. It's okay. You can pull it up. I'll take this one.
I pulled up the wrong league there. I'm getting killed in that league. It's Spanish Fork High School football players.
Although, how did George Kittle do today? That might have.
I was telling these guys before, if he had a bunch of points, he might be able to pull it off.
Dude, because, I was.
Here we go. I don't know. Can the camera pick that up? It's probably the only time I'll get a brag about my fantasy score.
Yeah.
No, back up, pick up. I don't know. We getting that, Kevin?
What about this one?
Not really.
Can you see it better on mine?
No.
Anyways, this is what it says, all right? My team got 63.64 points. Jake's team got 117.3.
Not bad.
You know what I'm saying? How unfortunate, dude.
Oh, did you see
For me.
my starting queue, though? What happened to him?
Yes.
He's donezo for a while.
Why couldn't that happen before
I know.
week, man?
A Bears
And
fan
Puka?
drafted Jordan Love.
I got to I kind of put off the quarterback for too long. And then I got down to where it's like, oh, I don't have a lot of options left. And he was still there. I was like, he's probably the best option I got left. I also, though, one of my very last pick, I got, Cooper Kupp.
Are you kidding me?
I got Deshaun Watson, who only had 10 points.
Oh, that's not good.
So I probably got to make some moves here because I'm rolling with Jordan Love and Deshaun Watson.
Bro, Minnesota had 21 points.
I know I didn't play him. That was a mistake.
Shoot, it doesn't matter. Everybody else on your team went crazy. But anyways, just thought I'd include that in the ending because I had to get off my chest.
I hadn't said anything. I was trying to be gracious.
I know, and I appreciate that. I do. But man, it's a tough start. So hopefully my guys start picking it up.
Hey, also, let's shout out Chubby's while we're thinking of it.
Speaking of, before I got here, I ate dinner, and guess where I ate it?
You go to Chubby's.
Chubby's. I went to Chubby's, and I had a wonderful burger. You know, it was great vibes. You know, it was awesome. So shout out Chubby's. Like I said, if you ever out here and you hungry, anything, literally they have it all. And it's great quality food. You know, great prices and everything like that. Check them out, man. They're honestly the best. So
and support BYU fans who support BYU players.
Absolutely,
it's a great way to do it.
They're huge supporting, people, especially for me. You know, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Appreciate Mark, man, coming on the podcast, the show today. Spent some time. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you, Jake. Appreciate you guys, man. Kevin, man, Craig. I appreciate y'all. And shoot, let's take it to Wyoming, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's take it to Laramie, and then I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
It's a wrap.